This week's video is about fueling for your runs and fueling to recover. We're out here, 13-mile easy run this morning. Start the week, absolutely beautiful. Gonna wrap this run up, get some food in us. I'll show you what I eat before, after, throughout the week, and how I make sure I'm not bunking, fueled right, and feeling good. That's beautiful. All right, on to week 17. So every morning after my workout, I've been having basically the same thing. Cup of egg whites. Brooke's been on a rampage of sourdough. She's even got pumpkin sourdough today, so it's got an orange tint to it. Some sort of jelly today. We got sugar-free. Sometimes I'll throw in a Trader Joe's pumpkin, a banana, and I love black truffle, so I've been doing some black truffle hot sauce. Whip this up, scarf it down, and then head out for work. So I work out first thing in the morning, whether it's running or lifting. Wake up at the crack of dawn and get it done because that's what I like to do. Now, when I lift, I typically will do it fasted. You don't really burn as much fuel as you think you do. Weightlifting, you do use a little bit of energy, but for the most part, it's very not as much taxing as most people think. So I typically wake up, have a scoop of pre-workout, a scoop of creatine, drink that on the way to the gym, and I'm good. If I'm not trying to diet down, then I'll have breakfast right after. Pretty big breakfast, because after you lift, you are pretty hungry. But when it comes to running, that's where fueling starts to get way more important. Yesterday, easy run, do it fasted. 13 miles fasted, especially at an easier pace, I personally have no problem with. But as you get into some of these bigger runs, these bigger workouts, it's so important to have some solid food, some fuel for the run, hydrating properly, and this is when dialing in your nutrition really starts to matter. Okay, so old saying goes, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So Tuesday night, I lay out all my stuff, all my fuel for the run, my clothes, everything, so I can just roll out of bed and get going. So here, what I've got laid out, I've got 4 energy gels. I just use the Goog brand. It's cheapest, it's easiest. So I take one every 4 miles. Before I run, I'll take 2 scoops of G1M Sport, a scoop of creatine, and a scoop of electrolytes. So I'll drink that and then just have a banana with some honey on it. Literally just pour the honey on over the sink and eat it like that. Just get going. And then we've got this water bottle that I've loaded up with 2 scoops of electrolytes. But before I have that in the run, I will pack just a disposable water bottle. So I get running, I drink this first before I get, a few miles in, 5-6 miles, I get 1 water bottle down, and then I start drinking those electrolytes. And then after that, once I've gone through the electrolytes, I just keep refilling it with water. Life hack that I've been doing this marathon prep is bringing some sort of chip. I always wondered why they bring some Lay's potato chips at some of these marathon stands, some of the aid stations. And I started bringing it to break up some of the sweetness from all the electrolytes and goos. And it is a game changer. Also, wonderful Brooke bought me these blister Band-Aids to put on while I run. Those Nike Vaporflies or whatever they were called tore my feet apart. I'm talking the whole bottom of my feet are covered in blisters or just one big blister. And I'm afraid that during this run tomorrow that they're gonna open and I'm just gonna be walking in some bloody pus. So I don't want that. So Brooke got me those blister Band-Aids. I'll throw on the Icy Hot with an Ace bandage before, just to keep some of the swelling down from my Achilles. And yeah, that is what I eat, what I drink for these long runs. Because if you ever heard about the story of a man running 26.2 miles on an empty stomach, he was lying because he can't do it. So that is that. Wake up early in the morning, roll out of bed, put that down, and start going. Boom. There we go. 21-mile, longest run we'll do this prep until the long one. 8:57 pace, negative splits. I actually, for the first time ever, very embarrassing, took a tumble at like mile 10 and literally limped probably the next 6 or 7 miles. I mean, not bad, but early in the morning, cold, windy, fell outside a gas station, just embarrassed and in pain and want to be in bed. But that was a great run. Had a little more fluids this run than I typically do. I was thirsty, which is a little interesting because this is the coldest run all prep. So not too sure where that thirst was coming from. But yeah, goo every 4 miles. I normally have those chips about 2/3 of the way through the run, just to break up that sweetness, and crushed it. Oh, I was worried for a little bit on that one, but that was everything the last one should have been. Last week felt a little too easy. This one took some real grit with temperature and pain, and that was it. The biggest thing I think between like a half marathon and a full marathon is, I guess, so people say half marathon and full marathon, twice the distance, 3 times the training. I say 4 times the effort and 5 times the focus on nutrition. So you saw earlier what I eat before and during my runs. It's so important to make sure you're getting your carbs in for energy. And then, especially for me, I haven't done like an actual test, but I just know I am a huge sweater. Like, I will profusely sweat. Growing up as a kid, I was even prescribed like a deodorant to help with my sweating because I was just sweating through shirts. Also, side note, if you have that problem, highly recommend it. My pits haven't sweat since I was in like 8th grade. But so I sweat a lot. So the biggest change I have in this prep is my focus on electrolytes. Replacing that sodium is so important, not just for performance during that run, but I find if I was short on my electrolytes before and during a run, after the fact, I am wiped after some of these workouts. But if I take enough electrolytes and rehydrate enough during these runs, I can bounce back pretty quick and carry on with my day. So yesterday, or not yesterday, gosh, I'm getting my days up, long day. two scoops of electrolytes in my water intro workout, 2 scoops G1M Sport, and a scoop of electrolytes before, plus all the goo packets. So 1 scoop of electrolytes, it's like 500 milligrams, and then 1 scoop of the G1M Sport's like 350. So it's like 2,100 milligrams of sodium just before and during that workout, plus all the goos, which I'm not exactly sure how much they have, but they have quite a bit of electrolytes during. And the feels like this morning was 40 degrees, which is quite chilly. I wore a beanie and a long sleeve, so I was still kept warm, but I wasn't sweating as much, but I still felt like I could have had a little bit more electrolytes. Post-workout nutrition, definitely want to focus on protein, repair some of your muscles, and then carbs, replenish some of those glycogen storages. That's so important. So I have that same breakfast almost every day if I have the time. If not, I'll do probably like a shake, some rice cakes, peanut butter, probably something not substantial enough, but when you gotta go, you gotta go. So with that said, tonight's dinner, we are thawing out some tuna. So I caught this myself. I'll throw in a little clip right here for you. On a trip fishing in the Gulf Coast off Louisiana. Now that I'm looking at it, that might not be the tuna. That might be the Kobe, but either way, I'm having some fish. There's some wasabi, some soy sauce. I'll probably whip up some rice. Don't have an avocado. But like I've said, Brooke is whipping up some sourdough. She's leaving for the weekend, and she doesn't want to leave me hungry and loafless. Look at this. It's pouring over the edges. That's gonna be good. Well, this is it. The last hard one of prep. We've got a 16-mile speed workout today. I can't remember exactly what it is. I think it's 2 mile, something like 2 mile warm up, like 4 miles at race pace, mile recovery, mile at 10K pace, half mile recovery, mile at 10K pace, half mile recovery. And then I think I got like another bout of marathon pace and then recovery. This has been a textbook last week of pushing. Last week was only a couple miles shorter, but the workouts seemed to flow. Like it felt so easy, felt so good, felt minimal to no effort. But this week's been tough. I'm not gonna lie. The weather's dropped. Motivation lower, probably because of the weather. My feet are so torn up from those Nike shoes last Friday. It hurts to walk, and I feel like that's no excuse not to run, but I can hardly walk with some of these blisters. I'm in pain. Wednesday when I fell, busted my knee. That's all swollen. I'm tired, and I just really don't want to do this. But it's so important to do these workouts. These workouts, the ones that you don't want to do, matter the most. David Goggins and Hoverman talked about it, about there's this part of your brain that grows when you do things that you don't want to do. Well, that's great, but I honestly don't care what the size of my brain is. But it builds this grit, this resilience, a toughness, a mental toughness when you do these things. And this is gonna suck. I really don't want to do it. I might cry. Not really, I'm not gonna cry. But I'm not looking forward to this. But it's the last tough run of prep, and I feel it shouldn't be any other way. That one run didn't matter. What matters is the sum of your runs. Your worst run, your best run, and all the runs in between over the last 17 weeks, that's what's gonna make you hit your goal. One bad run isn't gonna make you miss your goal. One good run isn't gonna make you hit your goal. It's consistent effort over a long period of time. It's showing up every day with focus and effort. Good runs, bad runs, it all adds up. So this one run, while didn't feel good, isn't gonna throw me off my game because the foundation's there, the house is built, and the hay's already in the barn. Absolute classic going down. Now Sundays, typically recovery day, excuse my bedhead, but Sundays are all about getting in that missed protein throughout the week. At the end of the day, I'm still here for some aesthetics. I still like lifting weight. I want some muscle on me, not just a runner. So we got to get our protein in. So Sunday, I don't try to limit my calories. I just focus on eating somewhat healthier, eating as much as I want, and really loading up on that protein. Because typically Monday through Friday, I'm pretty good at a balanced diet, eating limited calories, focused on nutrition. Saturday, oftentimes I probably don't get enough protein in, whether I ate too much carbs and fat, or maybe I just didn't eat enough food at all. Typically running, gunning, socializing, hanging with some friends, running errands. Not in much of a routine on Saturday. So Sunday, we're making up for that. We're making up for the missed protein. So we're about to put a bunch of eggs down, get some protein shakes in us, not worry about carbs, not doing too much activity today. We got an easy 7-mile Sunday recovery run, slow and steady. Really not gonna need that much fuel. So not focused on carbs, just focused on staying full, staying healthy, and relaxing today. Because that's what Sunday's about, eating and sleeping. There's nothing better than some Sunday movement to wrap up a great last week. A couple miles, 1 mile left of this last Sunday workout of a 60-mile week. And then it's downhill from there. The work's in. Now we're recovering, just waiting for race day.